Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me this file, and this is a pretty good picture of a Barbwire, but he must have traced it. And whenever you have a fault, when you do things, the fault is going to be over dramatized, and we got some separation here. And I don't 100% understand, but this is a polygon with 100 sides. I don't understand the polygon part. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the Smart Fill tool, fill that in, move that out of the way, and left click right now. So now it's not a polygon anymore, it's a curve. We can actually do it a couple of different ways. But see, having a polygon, you've got all these nodes. So let's get rid of all those nodes and just use, well, still got a lot of nodes. You know what? It'd be better just to draw a new one with an ellipse. Do not hold down the control button. And I think that's about the right size. So now if you look, we only have one node. So by the time you would take and repair this Barbwire, you could draw one. I've done a lot of videos on Barbwire. My mentor, Roy Brewer, had some videos a while back. I'm going to draw a straight line. I'm going to get the distort tool, and I'm going to get the zipper, and I'm going to start adding nodes, and then I can add altitude and make that like that. That's too much. I just want a little bit. Now I can go here and just smooth distortion. It's going to make that kind of that wave. I'm going to make it something thicker. Man, that's too thick. And then I'm going to take, and I'm going to I'm going to right click and convert it to an outline. And then I'm going to left click, right click. I'm going to Control D, and then I'm going to mirror it. That's probably pretty good. We got just a little bit of separation in the line. Now we could go ahead and weld this, and you know what I'm going to do also? I'm going to make a duplicate of this and put it out of the way, because there's a lot you could do this to make the Barbwire just kind of stand out. But this time on this video, we're just going to do black Barbwire. So I'm going to go up here and weld it, and then I'm going to make it black. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to take away that for a second, because now I'm going to make my barbs. The best way I found to make barbs is take a rectangle. Now he's working in millimeters, but I'm going to just type in 2. That's not enough, so let's type in 4. Now get that rounded part. It is, let's make it 7 millimeters wide. Let's change our nudge factor to 7. And then that way we can Control D and make a duplicate. What happened? 7 millimeters, oh, I only hit 4. So plus key or Control D. And you can have as many or as few as those want. Now this is still a rectangle. So we're going to convert it to a curve. And by doing that, there are several ways to make the barbs. And, you know, you could play around with this till, I always say the cows come home. A lot of people won't. Tell you what, I'm going to select them all, right click, turn it into a curve. And I'm just going to make it a little more, well, why am I having trouble? There we go. I just, for some reason, wasn't converted to a curve. Well, that one's still giving me problem. Tell you what, let's select both these, right click to a curve. Well, what am I doing wrong? That should, I'll tell you what, let's just convert the whole thing to a curve by right clicking. Oh, the arrows there, I just couldn't see it. I don't like that, but I'm going to call that good. Now we can take this one and nudge it over. Now it's not going to mirror because it's elongated, but you can turn it like that and then get it right here and take that node and have it match to that node. Now we might be a little bit big, so we can reduce it in size. And I'm going to go ahead and do this, take my virtual segment delete key, and see this way we get our humps. I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool and get a new shape that created a new object. And then I can left click, right click. I don't think we want one on every one, but, well, we don't. Let's skip 2. But then I'm going to take this one and mirror it. So the points are going in the opposite direction. And if I would have hit Control D the first time, it'll make them spaced out pretty good. I can move them. I don't want one on that end, kind of close to the other end. And Barbwire, if you really look at it, is it's not perfect. I think we probably may want to space it out just a little bit. And you could play around with that. Now I'm going to get rid of that. And I'm going to take this and weld it. And then I'm going to take let's zoom in here. I'm going to take my Smart Fill tool and I made my Barbwire. Now this thing is, let's see how long this line is. It's an ellipse, so we need to go to Object and convert it to a curve. When we go to Windows, Dockers, and Properties, it'll tell us how long that curve is. And that curve is almost 760. And our item is like that. So with my ratio locked, I'm going to go 760. You know, it doesn't look like that would even work. Let me get rid of these Dockers. Now, there are several ways you could do it, but the easiest way I found is go to your Artistic Media tool and click right here to save it. And it's going to ask you, and we're going to call it Barbwire. I've made a bunch of them, so 4. And then click on your item. Now, I don't know why Corel does this, but you need to go up or downhill there. Now, I could have already had it black, but that way you can kind of see what's going on. And this might be better here. So what I'm going to do now, and you could have less or more. I'm going to make this, I'm going to go to Object and convert it to a curve because I wanted it to be a hairline. Because this way I can see I was that close in my measurement. There's our original. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Object and break the Artistic Media apart. That's our original line. Now I can take my Shape tool, grab these 2 nodes, move them over to that node, and we'll do the opposite. It doesn't really matter. Now we're going to get our virtual segment delete key and delete through that. So I wasn't far enough with one of them. As you can see, you can actually go way past. Might be the easiest. And then let's take the virtual segment delete key. Well, same thing here. I'm not far enough. I should have just moved them individually. You want it on that line so you won't have a jagged part. And then just fill this in with black. Don't tell me I've got a leak, or is it just taking a while because it's having to go all the way around that Barbwire? Because I could have just filled it in with black and not worried about it, but I can't believe I've got a leak. I apologize for that. I don't know what I did wrong. Yeah, I have a leak somewhere. Let me see if I just, because this is a curve, I can just make it black. And then I would strongly suggest take away the outline. And if I wouldn't have the leak, the Smart Fill tool would have worked. There's that leak right there. If we look, I didn't. Grab those two and join the curve. Well, they all might be like that. But I think you can only do one at a time. It was just the other part of that. I don't think they're all like that. But you don't have to do that anyway because you can just fill it in with black. That's pretty cool. And then take away the outline. The outline is just a little bit thicker. And you know, if I would have saved, well, let's just do that. If I would have saved the Barbwire, the barb, and had an extra one, then you could add to it, you know, and tilt it. You know, if you don't like the spacing, you don't really want the barb there, but you could add barbed wire. You know, you could actually, I'm going to make a second video to embellish this a little bit if you were going to engrave it, because it really makes it stand out. Anyway, I hope that helped him a little bit, and thank you for watching.